Though the meditations on this podcast might be bright as a flame, the language and themes can be smoky as an extinguished candle. On this episode, we're reflecting on the meditation Return to the Breath from James Buckley, A Quieted Mind. Hey y'all, I'm Grace, and this is Mediocre Mystic, the podcast where we explore how mediocre makes the world go round and how mediocre works in mysterious ways. Thanks so much for joining me and James. Please take a moment to subscribe, follow, rate, and review Mediocre Mystic on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or any of the platforms where you find your podcasts.
In our everyday lives, we spend so much of our waking hours running away from the present moment. We run around making ourselves busy, chasing whatever's next. When we have a chance to stop this rushing and running, our thoughts are often consumed with fears about the future or regrets about the past. The practice of conscious breathing is a way for us to stop running, quiet our minds for a moment, and fully inhabit the present moment with our body and mind. It can help bring us into a state of calm and ease, and leave us better equipped to face life's circumstances as they arise, rather than losing ourselves in a constant worry about what might happen. We are always breathing. The aim of conscious breathing is to breathe with awareness. So breathe. And as you breathe, bring your thoughts into awareness of the breath.
Sometimes I struggle with meditation. I love it, but my mind is a wandering roamer. It can be like the dog who darts out into the middle of the road when the door is opened. I'm going along fine, concentrating on my breath, and then the door, or thought, leads me to dart out of the street of that inquiry. I get twirled around by the cars of ideas about to hit me, and finally I run back inside. Okay, back to the breath, panting though it may be. Sometimes it helps me instead to take a middle way approach. Instead of the black and white of sitting inside or darting outside, I propose we take our thoughts on a walk. I think in this proposed form of meditation, it's important to pick a path before we begin. What street are we going to walk along? In this case, I picked the topic of breath itself. Guided by James, once I had centered, I looked at the meaning of breath. Think of the breath like our collar. It helps keep us focused and on track. Think of the topic like the leash for any of our random thoughts so that we don't get distracted. I find knowledge to be a dynamic handler in meditation. If you Google the definition of breath, you'll find a very exacting medical one. Inhaling and exhaling air into and out of the lungs. If you look a little lower, you'll see the archaic definition, the power of life. Now, y'all know I love an original definition of a word. In stark contrast to the sterility of the medical definition, this one is majestic. Whilst the medical definition gives us the how, the original one leaves us in awe. Life can be a mix of so many things, the nuts and bolts of how, but above all, it is powerful. The way one person can change the world, the way we can change the world for one person. As I meditate on this topic, intentionally guiding my thoughts, there is little room for the intrusive thoughts. I find my mind cleared, much like after an actual walk with my dog Scout. I'll leave you with this quote from Dan Bruley. The secret of life is right under your nose. Now that you've heard from James and me, I want to hear from you. How did this meditation inspire you? Call or text me at 980-355-9665. Email me at mediocremysticpod@gmail.com. Visit mediocremystic.com and check out the show notes for links to social media and references from this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, and review Mediocre Mystic on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or any of the platforms where you find your podcasts. If you'd like to hear James's story, Go back to Season 1, Episode 1 and 2 of 2020. Learn how he found Zen after growing up in fundamental Christianity, deconstructing through progressive Christianity, finally to arrive reconstructing with Buddhism. And until then, may your yang always find its yin, and may you flow in the way of the Zen.